I want to start this video off by saying this video is going to be a little bit different than what I usually make. I say this because I do love talking about Xbox and reporting exactly what they're doing or what they're rumored to be doing. I enjoy talking about the next generation Xbox Series X and what the future plans of Xbox are. And from what we've seen so far, it's looking like they're taking the next generation very seriously and are ready to make a lot of noise in the industry. But they're still the current generation leader who's been quiet for far too long. That's right, I'm talking about Sony and the way they're handling the marketing for the PlayStation 5. Because while I'm a huge Xbox fan, I'm an even bigger gaming fan in general. I love gaming and I just prefer to game on Xbox. But that doesn't mean I want Sony and the PlayStation to fail and vanish out of nowhere. No, quite the opposite. I want Sony to come back even stronger this next generation so they can keep the pressure on Microsoft. That's why I think Sony needs to respond to the Xbox hype that's been flying around for a little while now. And I'm not the only one that thinks that. They have to talk about their plans for the next generation. I wanted to talk about this because while I think Xbox is dominating the gaming news currently, we still have this giant in the PlayStation 5 that's been kept under wraps for far too long. It's time Sony finally opens up about their next gen plans. So let's dive into these couple of articles and talk about what Sony needs to do in the next couple of months and what they're rumored to not do. But like always, if you like the video, hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. Alright, enough of that. Let's talk about how Sony can finally take some of the attention away from Xbox and maybe build some hype themselves. But I do have to say, this is all opinion based and some of it will come from an article or two that thinks the same way as I do. Is this going to happen? Probably not, but I still have to get this off my chest because I really do want to see what Sony is working on. Not just the games, but I also want to see what the Ps5 looks like. I want to see the price of the console. I want to see what type of backwards compatibility they will have on the PlayStation 5. I want actual details that matter to me as a consumer. And that's what the article points out here. Pricing is the biggest question mark for both of these machines. We know what's inside, we know what one of them will look like, but we don't know how much it's going to cost us. What we do know, however, is that Microsoft will be pushing Xbox All Access, the subscription service that gets you a console and an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription for monthly payments instead of a lump sum, pending a credit check. Do you see what this quote is pointing out? It's talking about the Xbox mostly and how we've seen the console. Xbox will have an all-access program where you can get the console and the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription. It has a bunch of details about what Microsoft is doing to sell their Xbox Series X console. All the while, Sony doesn't have anything in place for us to go off of. And to me, that's a huge mistake because they're taking a backseat to marketing right now. All the while, Xbox is standing tall and showing exactly what they have. Not only that, but they're talking about games and having rumored events that will showcase everything they have. Xbox is being transparent and giving their customers a massive glimpse into the future of Xbox gaming. Yet Sony is not saying much and isn't even showing their console. And I get most people will point out that this generation, Sony didn't show the PS4 until E3. Well, that was then and this is now. Things change, the economy in gaming has changed completely. I want to see Sony presenting us certain things or announcing certain games or details about the console soon. And don't get me wrong, putting the DualSense controller out there was a pretty cool thing to see. Did I love the controller? No, not really, but I did like the small changes they made to the controller because to me, it's a little more towards the Xbox has had for years. And I think they try to add little features on the controller that pushes it further than it was this generation. And if you know me, I really don't like the controller that Sony has put out for years. I just have a very hard time using it. So with the improvements I've seen of the new controller, that's a good way to build up hype for me. But I'll even share a quote from an article that talks about the new controller and explains how it's a step up. I won't mince words. I've hated the DualShock controller lineup since I was a kid playing on my friend's PS2. I've repeatedly called them trash. The Xbox controller lineup, and yes, even the Duke included, has always felt better to use. And that's saying something when I could hardly fit my hands around the Duke as a child. My friends and I would argue over who got to use the Xbox S controller. It was beyond my comprehension how Sony could continually make controllers that were so inferior to its competition. This quote explains exactly how I felt about the PlayStation controller for years. So it's great that they made some drastic changes to the controller. I bring this up because it's something new Sony showed us and it was the first look at the next gen PlayStation. I think they need to reveal more and stop sitting on their hands, because we have so many rumors of Xbox doing events, talking about massive games, coming and basically giving us a roadmap of what's to come. Sony needs to start providing us, the gamers, with a roadmap about what they'll give us when the PlayStation 5 comes. Give us some insight into a launch title, or even a title that will come out a year or so after the PlayStation 5's launch. Because while Sony doesn't have the power crown anymore, they still have a lot of big hitting features that could build some hype. And that's the games that will come with the PlayStation 5. We all know this last generation, PlayStation dominated at the beginning because of price and power. Not to mention Xbox really tripping themselves up with a launch of the Xbox One Connect. Man, that was so ugly. But Sony's main ingredient was the games that followed the launch of the console and the marketing that was so aggressive. They didn't hold back and showed a bunch of games years out. They showed Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, Uncharted 4, Bloodborne, and even Days Gone and The Last of Us 2. All of these games were shown and praised by people when they were announced. PlayStation came out and talked about games years before they were going to release. It didn't mind talking about their future plans. Yet now, they stand silent and aren't talking about any first-party titles, minus the ones releasing for the PlayStation 4. And I know most people will say, well, Sony doesn't have to show anything because they dominated this generation and have all the hype they need. Well, to those people, I would say that doesn't matter. Because every business isn't what you've done for me, it's what have you done for me lately. Just ask Microsoft and how they dominated the Xbox 360 generation and fell flat on their faces during the Xbox One generation. It took them years of amazing hard work to get where they are right now, actually regaining some respect from a lot of gamers around the world. And even with all of this said, Sony still might not have an event to show off their new console because of the current global situation. Here's what an article had to say. The global crisis has already upended Sony's promotional plans. The company may forego hosting a public press conference for its PS5 release date and price unveiling due to infection fears. Recently, it was forced to reveal its DualSense PS5 controller in a hurried fashion, according to people informed on the matter. Now, I hope this just means a live event like E3 or a press conference where people are there and they can gather together. I hope they aren't talking about a digital event they can hold during the summer, or even revealing something at IGN's new event later in June. I really hope Sony realizes the type of power they have in the industry right now, and it wouldn't be the best idea to take your foot off the gas. Sony just has to look over at their main competition, which is Xbox. Don't fall flat on your face, and don't let the hype get too out of control. Show up this summer with an amazing digital event, or showcase some of the games coming to the PS5. We know you have the studios, we know you have the hardware. Stop waiting and finally start showing us something. We're all ready to see what you got. But enough about what I think, tell me what you think about all this. Do you think Sony has to reveal their PS5 soon? Can Sony rely on the PlayStation 4 generation? Do you want to see what their major studios are working on? What do you want to see from Sony and their PlayStation 5 these next couple of months? Do you think they don't have anything to show? Is it on Xbox to build up the hype and not let it go? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support helps out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there, so get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also, follow me on Xbox Live. My gamertag is Zalker87, just like my channel name. See what games I'm playing, and let's compete in achievements for the month. Right now, I just beat Assassin's Creed 2. I adored that game. It was so much fun. A little bit older, but hey, it felt pretty good. I'm going to be going through those, and then I'm just waiting for Gears Tactics to come out. I absolutely can't wait for that game. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later!